And I'm curious to know, in terms of this concept of wild scholars, how do you apply it in your college courses that you teach?
Well, to me, let me tell you two places I apply it really. One is with my family. My family, like I mentioned with my dad, we try to run a number of experiments, and we try to stick with things long enough so that we can learn from them and reflect on them. But my girls and my wife and I, we love to run experiments, so whether it's in hydroponic gardening or making a bow and arrow, whatever it is, we love to run experiments. With my students at school, we have a number of projects that we do with various, usually these are more technical projects. They're in chemical engineering. So, for instance, my wife and I work on a project with the Moringa oleifera tree. It's a tree that produces a seed that can be crushed up and used to make drinkable water. So we're able to work with students continually. Every semester we have a number of students who are interested in this project who want to find out molecularly how is this working, how can we transform the process to make it more usable. It's especially applicable near the equator. Students just love to dig into that. And research is all about tenacity in the midst of failure. So we've been able to run experiments now over a number of years, publish on this work, present on it. Students just love these types of projects. Working with other students on with particles that move by themselves. These are particles that are 100th as thick as your hair, and these particles can move by themselves. And we're running experiments on these small particles. In doing that, we not only do we do the project at hand, but in order for them to study how do these particles move, what are the fluid mechanics behind it, what are the thermodynamics behind it, they need to study the basics. And so they're oftentimes going back and looking at material that they might have seen in a course, but it just flew over their heads when they were taking the course. Now we're slowing down enough so that they can actually take it in and make it part of themselves.
Wow, that's great. You seem the type of person who won't stand still. You want to keep going forward and keep growing and continue in terms of being creative. So I'm wondering what's next, either in terms of your wild scholar concept or this course on creativity that's coming up. What do you foresee or hope for after that?
Well, professionally, some of this MOOC on creativity, innovation, and change has me quite excited right now because when we first started this, I didn't see a connection with wild scholars. After all, if we're going to have over 100,000 students in a course, how could that possibly be wild scholars? And now we're seeing, wait a minute, maybe this can work. And that has me doubly excited because I come to realize that I don't have to be the mentor for every single person. In some ways, we are going to be a combination of an online course to summarize some content that has existed in the literature for a while with a type of Facebook for creativity, if you will. So that we connect people all over the world. And we have people from all over the world enrolled in this course, oftentimes in teams. So they'll be able to combine wild scholars with this MOOC. Part of the content of the course is the center principles, the practices that I've been talking about with my students. So I'm excited about that. And there's one other piece that we've been looking at with decision making. And for a number of years now, I've worked on it for more than 20 years now, but I've had students involved recently in something called physics of community, in which we're trying to use the principles of chemical engineering, which include chemistry and physics and biology and ecology, of course, mathematics, to guide our thinking in human decision making. So that's a piece that we're trying to figure out. How does the physics of community, what's the perspective we could take on the course and on wild scholars from thinking of human decision making from that perspective? So there are a few things coming.
That sounds exciting. That's great. Well, Darrell, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it, and I wish you luck with this course, which I'm really looking forward to participating in September. It sounds like it's going to be a great learning experience and a great way to build community around creativity.
Yes, I think with all, we already have so many outstanding students signed up for the course. Jack and Catherine and myself are super excited about getting started with it. So I hope that together we can co-create the course and make changes in communities all over the world.
Thank you again.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to interview me.